Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create your own customizable Wheel of Fortune name chooser for use in classrooms. Here's a wheel with student names on it. I have 30 student names, and when I click the wheel it spins around, and when I click it a second time a random name is chosen, in this case Philip. Click it again and a second name can be chosen, and so on. This can easily be embedded into any PowerPoint presentation and is quick and easy to both create and to customize whenever you want. Unfortunately, Microsoft PowerPoint doesn't have any alignment that allows you to align shapes radially or in a circle. There are little workarounds that you can use, such as aligning shapes horizontally, grouping them, and then rotating the group. But that's quite fiddly, and it's often difficult to get it exactly right if you have quite a number of shapes that you want to put together. So what we're going to do to start off with is head up to the Layout button in the Home tab and choose Blank, so we have our blank slide, and I'm then going to go up to Insert and head over to Chart, because within the Charts panel there is something that does have shapes already aligned in a circle or aligned radially, and that of course is the pie chart. So we're going to start off with a pie chart. So just take the basic pie chart, insert that into your slide, and this little Excel panel appears, a little Excel window. I'm going to open that up a little bit taller, and we're going to replace these numbers in column B. I'm going to decide on how many of these slices that I want. I want them all to be even, and I want the right number. Now if you're doing this for a class of students, then obviously take the number of students in your class. I'd sometimes do a few extra and just have a set standard of say 30 for every class, and if I have some classes which have a couple of students less than 30, then I will fill up those other ones with extra little bonuses or surprises. I'll show you a demonstration of that later on. I'm going to do this for 24 students, so the first thing I'll do is click on that first number, which by default is 8.2, and rather than working this out mathematically, I'm simply going to be lazy and type equals 360 divided by 24, the number of students or slices that I want in my chart. Press enter. Of course the answer is 15, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that cell and grab the bottom right corner of it and drag it down to row 25, which is one more than the 24 slices that I want. That's because row 1 of course has this title in it. So I now have 24 examples of the number 15. I can now close the Microsoft Excel window, and you can see there we are. I have my 24 slices. Currently the color scheme is maybe a little interesting, we'll change that later on, but we now have our 24 slices radially aligned, spaced out brilliantly, perfectly evenly, exactly as we want. So now let's do a little bit of sorting out. The first thing we want to do is to get rid of this title at the top, so I'm going to click on the title, and make sure you click on it so that it has its own border around the outside, and then press delete. The same thing for the legend or the key at the bottom. Select that so that it has its own border and then press delete to get rid of it. So now we're just left with that shape. Except it's not a shape. It is still a graph, and it will behave and act like a graph, which we don't really want. So what we're going to do now is to convert this pie chart into basic shapes. So we're going to convert the whole thing into these shapes, which don't actually exist within the shapes panel normally, with this curved side here and coming to a point here. That these slices don't really exist as a shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole thing by clicking on the outside frame, and I'm going to right click and choose Cut. Now once I've cut that chart, I'm going to head over to the Paste button and click on the bottom half of that Paste button to bring up the menu, and I'm going to choose Paste Special. Now you'll see there is a shortcut for this, Control-Alt-V if you prefer. When I click Paste Special, it brings up this window, and the option we're going to choose is Picture Enhanced Metafile. So once I've selected that, I'm going to click OK. It looks as though nothing has changed. It's exactly the same, but this is no longer a chart. It's no longer a pie chart. It is now a series of shapes, except they're grouped. We need to ungroup them, so we're going to right click on the shape and go to group. We can see they're grouped because the only option is to ungroup them. I'm going to click on ungroup, click yes when that pops up, but we need to do that a second time because actually there's a group within a group. So we're going to right click on that edge once again, head back down to group, and again ungroup. And straight away you can see now that it's broken down into the individual shapes. So each of these slices is now an individual shape that we can manipulate, we can drag out, we can do whatever we want with that. They are now just shapes. So now we've got our shapes, there's a little bit of tidying up that we need to do because actually we've doubled the number of shapes we need, and that might cause a little bit of a problem later on. I'll show you what I mean. If we make sure we're in the Home tab, and on the right hand side of the ribbon we click on the Select arrow and then choose Selection Pane, we can see here all of the shapes that are within our image. Now remember that we wanted 24 students, so you would expect to have 24 shapes. So why on earth do we have Freeform 85 at the top? Counting down, we seem to have quite a lot. So what we can do, if I click on that bottom one here and I select the eye on the right hand side, if I click that, you can see that makes that shape invisible. So that's easy enough. But if I click on the one above it and I click that to make it invisible, you can see there's nothing really that's changing. If you look very closely, you can see there is a black line at the top of this one which is appearing and disappearing. But effectively, every alternate shape within this list here is one that we don't need and want to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is to first of all identify which is the first one from the bottom which I can make invisible without it actually making an actual segment invisible. So that would be in my case Freeform 39. So I'm going to click on that to select it in the selection panel, and then holding down the Control key so I can select multiple shapes which are not next to each other in this list. I'm then going to select every alternate shape. So you'll see I'm just simply clicking alternate shapes, working up from the bottom like this. You can do it one at a time if you prefer, but holding down Control allows you to do the whole thing in one go, and if you make a mistake then it doesn't matter. There we are. I've selected every alternate shape, and now I'm going to press the Delete key on my keyboard, which has now reduced that so I only have 24 shapes, and actually it makes this a little clearer. We can see we now have the edges or the strokes of each shape. Still got each individual shape with its black line around it, but now that's all we've got. Right, oh actually we've still got the border around the outside, this auto shape, which again doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to get rid of that as well. So now we just have 24 shapes, each of which is one of these slices. I can close the selection panel now, and now we're ready. Now of course what you'll want to do is to format these probably using your own colours. That's easy enough. To do that you can simply click on any one of these shapes. You will notice that you'll have a rectangular selection box around it, and if you click over here you'll see that some of them are quite large rectangular boxes, so sometimes it can be a little bit confusing as to which shape you're clicking on, but if you click in the middle of each of these that's not too bad. So if I click on that one there, I can simply use the shape fill tools just as I would normally, or I can select the whole thing and do it in one, and then select alternate ones perhaps and change those to whatever colour I choose. So let's just make a few of these changes here. Let's just put alternate ones here as yellow, like this. And of course with an even number that's not going to work, is it? I've just realized I got an even number. Oh wait a minute, no, it will work. There we are, perfect, lovely. So I've now got my wheel. What you'll then want to do of course is to put text boxes onto this so that you can add student names. Now, the one problem we've got with text boxes on this is that the individual shapes, whilst you can add text, if I right click on this and I choose edit text, it ends up not really being quite the way we want. The text is horizontal, it overlaps the other shapes, it's not really very tidy at all. So the best way of doing this, that I've come across at least, is to add a text box first of all. So I'm going to type a text box in here, or create a text box, and just write student name as a placeholder really. So student name. I'm then going to position this over, doesn't matter which one I start with, but one of these. So say there, like that, and get it as neatly lined up as I possibly can where I want it to be. So I would say something like that. Now, once we've done that, what we'll need to do is duplicate this and rotate it. So I'm going to select the student name. Do make sure, by the way, you have formatted this exactly as you want. So make the font right, make it bold, make the color however you want it to be, but do make sure that's formatted correctly first of all. And then once you've done that, select the text box, press Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then don't click it. So once you've done that, what we'll need to do is go to the Format menu for that text box, click on the Rotate button there, and then head down to the More Rotation options, which opens up this panel. And what we're going to do now is simply rotate this the number of degrees that it needs to be rotated. Now, if you remember, back at the beginning when we had the Microsoft Excel window open, we did that little formula which said equals 360 divided by the number of students, 24 in this case, and it showed us that the answer was 15. So 15 degrees is the angle by which each of these text boxes will need to be increased. So with that first copy of the text box selected, over here on rotation, you can either add 15 to 277 or just click the up button 15 times. I'm going to be lazy and do it that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will then produce a copy of the text box which is exactly angled so that you can put it in the exact same relative, at least the same position as this first text box. So again, press Ctrl D, increase the rotation by 15 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then move that into the right position. Now this is a little bit fiddly, admittedly. There's no other real way of doing this quickly, but once you've created a template, at least then you've got it and you can change the student names later on to whatever you want and just duplicate this slide. Now I'm not going to add all of my names. I'll just do one more just for that, and then I'll leave it because I'm sure at that point you've got the idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move that into position. Once you get into the rhythm of doing this, it's not too bad, and there you've got it. So I'm going to leave it at that just so that you can see the idea and then move on. Right, the next thing now is to regroup all of these shapes, including the text boxes that we've added, so that we create one single group. So I'm going to select all of that and then right click anywhere on it and choose Group and then Group again. So that's now a single group. Sometimes it works if you increase the size of it, but I tend to like to keep things the right size from the word go. Once we've got it as a shape, we can now add an animation. So I'm going to select this grouped shape, head up to Animations, and then if we go to Add Animation, what we're looking for is Spin. So that's in the emphasis category, the yellow ones. So we choose Spin, which you can see straight away, start spinning things. That's great, but it's not quite the way we want it to work. So what I'm going to do is open up the animation pane by clicking this animation pane link at the top. There it is. And then I find this, it's called Group 100. That's simply the name of my grouped shapes. And I'm going to double click that so I bring up the options menu. Now this first tab, that's fine. I'm not going to change anything at all there, but I am going to click on timing and make a few changes here. The first thing is the speed that it spins around. You saw a little preview there of it spinning around. That was a fairly moderate spin. I'm going to increase that a little bit to 1 second. So it'll take 1 second to do one complete spin. So obviously the faster that you wanted to spin, the shorter each individual cycle, so 0.5 seconds would be extremely fast. And if you wanted to go really slowly, then you could do these, but then it makes it easy to cheat and select whichever student you want. So to make it look fair, I tend to stick with the 1 second speed. Now we want to change the repeat. I want to choose until next click. So we wanted to carry on spinning until we click it a second time. Now, how do we want to start it spinning? Well, that'll be a trigger. So we want to start the effect, this option here, on the click of, well, the group 100. So on that particular group. So we've got start the effect on the click of group 100, repeat until the next click, and spin it at a rate of 1 second. So there we are, that's that done. So we can now click that, that's working fine. But what we need to do is add one more animation, because at the moment, although we've got a second click programmed in there for stopping the animation, so that's in the timing, repeat until next click, when we do click again, it's just going to restart the spin animation. So that's not really what we want. So what we're going to do is add a second animation, which simply makes the wheel appear. So we're going to click on the appear option there, and then again we're going to click on where it says group 100 here to change the timing, and we're simply going to make sure here that the trigger first of all is the start effect on click of group 100. So that's all we need to do. So we just simply double click that group 100 and make sure the trigger is that we start the effect on that same group click. There we are, that's done. We can close that animation pane, and of course we can play around with the background and everything, but let's run our presentation now. So if I move my mouse over this circle and click, it starts spinning, and that's a rate of 1 spin per second, so that's a fairly fast spin. And then if I click it again, it will stop, and it'll stop at a random position. Now, of course, what you will need is to make sure that there's some way of identifying which student it is that's been selected. And although you could have an arrow at the top, because whichever student name is going to be on the right hand side will be the easiest to read because of the rotation, it's generally a good idea to have your arrow coming in from the side. So I'm going to go up to Insert and to Shapes, and then choose an arrow, anyone you like. Draw that arrow out, and we're just going to go up to Rotate and Flip Horizontal. And of course you can colour this however you like as well. Let's colour this one black. Bring that in and put it at whichever halfway point you want. I'm going to put it about there. So now when I click this, you can see that it is selecting the option. There we are, that red one there. The arrow is nice and clearly in place. Now what you can do with all of this, if you want to, once you select this shape, is you can add shape effects, some of the presets for example, which can make it look shiny or three-dimensional, and once you start playing around with the background as well, and maybe changing the background color to a more contrasting color, it starts to look quite good and quite effective. And it's a really nice, easy way of being able to select random students at any particular point, or indeed anything else you need to randomly select, whether it be numbers, letters, or anything else. Once you've got all the student names in there, you've obviously created that for that one particular class. What I would do is create one of these with 30 names, or however many is the maximum class size, and then simply duplicate that slide for each of your classes, and then go on each one and change the student names to whichever is your actual student name for that class. And then you can simply have each of those as a wheel for each class. And if you want to, you can simply then right click and copy one of these slides and paste it into any other PowerPoint presentation you want, so that you can have one of these random name selectors at any point in any PowerPoint presentation that you choose. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions or problems, please do leave a comment below. I do make an effort to try to respond to every comment, so do please feel free to ask questions. If you found it useful, it will be fantastic if you could add a quick like to the video now, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do click the subscribe button, and then you'll know when there are new useful resources like this one that you might find helpful. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you again sometime. Bye bye.